the U.S. homeland. And with that, I yield to my friend, the ranking member, for any opening statement he may have.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate that, and I want to join you in our thank yous to our two military witnesses today. They have served incredibly well for a long time, and sorry, we'll not be seeing before you this committee. I don't know if you share, if you will miss us as much as we miss you. But we do appreciate your service. It's good to have you back one more time, and the degree of expertise that you bring to these two very difficult regions is enormously helpful to our committee, but also to our country. And I will agree with the chairman. I think the region is unbelievably unstable, both in CENTCOM and in Africa. Chairman has a slightly more optimistic take on how things have gone the last 6 months than I do. I think the instability is still raging and it's still something we need to deal with. Certainly the war in Gaza goes on. The suffering there is enormous. We need to get to a ceasefire as soon as possible. There continues to be conflicts in the West Bank. We see in Africa, and West Africa in particular, is a deeply concerning situation where terrorist offshoots are beginning to take over more and more territory and threaten more and more countries. Sudan, civil war continues to be a major destabilizing factor. A war no one really pays much attention to continues to go on between the DRC and Rwanda with catastrophic consequences. We have a lot of work to do in the region. Even in Yemen, yes, it's good that the Houthis for the moment have said that they're going to stop shooting at U.S. ships, but we still don't have commercial shipping traffic feeling free to go through the Red Sea. So we still have a lot of work to do to get after all of the instability in the region. I will agree with the chairman that Iran is the primary driving force in that without question. You see their hand everywhere: Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, Israel, Iraq. Getting an ability to contain that is crucially important. And I actually think it is good that President Trump is negotiating directly with Iran. Now, my Republican colleagues would pretty much lose their damn minds every time Biden even suggested that he might talk to Iran, so that particular hypocrisy grates a little bit. But it is a good idea to try to have a conversation. I think it is also crucially important in the negotiations that we focus on their support for proxies. It is their support for proxies that is the most destabilizing force in the region. But we also need to work more closely with our Israeli partners. I have an enormous amount of sympathy for the threats that they face from Hamas, from Hezbollah, from Iran, and others, but we need to find an alternative to Hamas. We need to work with Palestinians to give us some sort of future beyond Hamas. Partners in the region, as you well know, Jordan, Egypt, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, and others are working with those Palestinian partners, trying to generate that and being rebuffed constantly by the Israeli government. This war won't stop until Hamas is gone. I agree with that. But Hamas won't be gone until there is some alternative for the Palestinian people. I think it is really important that we step up pressure to try to push those negotiations and show the Palestinian people that they do have a future. If they don't think they have a future, it's going to be very difficult to stop this conflict. In Africa, I am very concerned about where that is going. The terrorist groups, as I said, seem to be taking hold in a number of countries. Russia has become more and more prominent in the region. They don't seem to be doing a particularly good job of keeping the peace, but they are still very present and have relationships with a number of countries. The path forward to that is not clear to me. I will close with a note of agreement with the chairman. These regions matter. They lead to greater instability. And when we talk about our primary concern being China, we must understand that the challenge with China is global. Any notion that we're going to pivot to Asia and therefore deal with China and just ignore the rest of the world, I think fundamentally misunderstands what is happening. As you gentlemen know, China is very active in Africa. They're very active in the Middle East. Russia is as well. This is a global challenge. These two regions are crucially important. We need to be present, but we also need to work with partners in the region to try to create greater stability in what is a very challenging part of the world. With that, I look forward